as you can see, we have a lot of people. You are Maude, Rod, Lady John Ham, and Jessica Lovejoy. I am Ned, Todd, Ham, Helen Lovejoy, and Mona.
Excellent.
And action.
Going to leave Springfield. They're going to another Springfield. It's the Rod and Todd spin-off sitcom starring Maude and Ned. Going to leave Springfield. Going to another Springfield. It's the Maude and Ned spin-off sitcom starring Rod and Todd.
Do you, John Ham, lady, take Helen Lovejoy, nee, something, to be your wife and stuff? Let's bring the flower girls in first, actually, before you answer.
Oh, walk nicely.
Ow.
I'll kick you. Give me those flowers.
Ham, stop shoving.
Get out of the way. Get out of the way. I'm the best flower girl.
Are you all just going to stand around watching me try and wrangle this little bastard and make sure this Ocado bungle is correct?
I do.
I do. Meanwhile, in the pews.
Oh, look at this. There's many reasons I could object to this wedding. Helen's a cow. Lady John Ham's already married. Just because he's forgotten his other wife, Helen, doesn't mean that I have. So it's bigamy. And also I could just object it on the grounds of it being lame.
Afterwards, why am I Lady John Ham? Why are you not Lady John Ham? You're always Lady John Ham. Exactly. Well,
Congratulations anyway, Helen.
Oh, thank you, Maude. And you look so lovely and slim yourself.
Thanks. Is that a new dress?
Oh no, this old thing.
Did you wear it to your last wedding?
Oh, Maude, I don't want to talk about that. Speaking of weddings, have you been to Las Vegas recently?
No, I've not. I haven't been for years. The last time I went was when you were about 80 pounds heavier.
We all have our crosses to bear, don't we? But some of us won't be bearing it for much longer.
So, like your hair, have you had it cut? Lady John Ham has always liked a mannish haircut.
Well, thanks for coming. Don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. What's that over there?
Ham.
oh, jeez.
Do it.
What's that?
Do it.
The crowd. Oh, no.
Just curly one out on dance floor like I saw on the telly.
For Ham's sake, it's everywhere.
Ooh,
Ham.
don't come closer or I won't stop.
Someone get a bucket and mop. Really? Nobody? Fine, I'll get the bucket and mop. You know, it's a good job you adopted me as a baby orphan, or I think all of this hammery was too much.
Maude.
Maude, it's a Maude Goodman cast post-death. Ice cream face to stuff. Don't judge me. I will judge you. Pentecost supporting character in our own cold dead popular podcast. Telekinesis and mind control. Mexican food, burrito, tacos, guacamole. Unflustered by serial killers. And not a bottom smack of damn vegetables. It's the post-death Maude Flanders Internet Museum. She's gone. Rest in peace. Well, we're still in trouble, trapped here inside the newly refurbished Internet Museum and Database, but and then there's monsters and zombies everywhere. And oh God, I think they're coming in through the window.
We got a dog very briefly, but it ran off.
Oh, who's that over there? Clip, clop, clip, clop, clip, clop. Boys,
No.
come on. If you don't want to die, boys, Get on top of this horse, what sounds like Elton John. Yeah, get on top of me. Get on top of this horse, what sounds like Elton John. Yeah, get on top of me. Okay, get on, Zaz. Is that horse big enough for three of us? Yeah, of course she is, boys. She's proper strong, aren't you, equine? Yeah, I'm a stronger horse.
It's Statman John.
Clippity cloppity, clippity
Just in the
cloppity.
nick of time.
Clippity cloppity, clippity cloppity. Where are we going, John? Ah, I've got a real safe place. Haven't we, Equine John? Yes, we have.
Do you have any stats?
Hello, good morning, and Cape Powwow, inconsequential, murky child of God. All hail corporate imperialism. Clippity cloppity, clippity cloppity. Hey, we're here, get off my back. Yeah, we're here, boys.
Okay.
Come on, get inside this shopping centre where it's proper safe and we've boarded up all windows, but there's just a little gap in here what none of bad uns, zombies, monsters, etc. know about.
Well, we escaped the horde pretty sufficiently. That timed very nicely. Thanks, Statman John and Horse Person.
Equine John's my name, and I'm a singer in a rock and roll band.
Nice. Who else is here?
Oh, come on, boys, come crawl through this hole and you'll see. Oh, bloody hell, why did you save them, John? And how did that horse fit through that bloody tiny hole? I'm able to squeeze myself real small.
As they just have to be smaller than the horse's whiskers, don't they?
The hole was smaller than my whiskers, and my tails are flip-flopping in the breeze.
Nice to see you,
have
Stan.
any of you been bitten? I've not been bitten.
No, not by anything undead. One of the Frankensteins bit me, but I don't think that does anything.
No, that's all right. Come in, the lad. Board back up that hole. Equine John, go make us some tea. Okay, I'll make you some tea. I'm the third John now. Yeah, I noticed.
Nice to see you, Stamp. It's been a while.
Bugger off. If it was down to me, I would have let you get turned into zombies, but then I don't want you for bite me. Get your bloody dirty cockney watchdog saliva all over me.
They're like cats.
Shall we do some sponsors while we're here?
Yeah, it stinks of cats.
Sponsors, cops in action, breathing down your neck like a vicious hellhound. Watch your crime, though please, matey. Embroidered uniform guard, Uganda State Research Bureau. Wash your bleeding back. We've got you our number.
Sponsor, the God Warrior. Did I do this one last week? I kissed a dark-sided person and I liked it.
Sponsor, be watching his bounty hunters on your tail for cash. Governess Anne, Ronnie Beast, and number 2 S. Wallace, Vixen guest spot. 350 episodes in 11 years since 82.4% winning streak. Peep out your curtains, we are there, parked in a rainbow chaser van. You'll see us, we're catching you, Dog Bounty.
Exactly. Bounty the Dog Hunters. Sponsor, the other woman from the Susan Boyle audition. Who's Elaine Page?
Who is your Barbara Dixon? Where is your Barbara Dixon now? Welcome to the Maud Flanders Internet Museum. It's over there currently being pulled down and eaten alive by zombies and mucked up animals. Theme park database and hotcake restaurant. Freshly rebuilt and under attack by the undead and mucked about with animals. Eek.
Sponsor, Nikki and Paolo.
Give me a number between 1 and 350.
73.
Homes, places that Maud has lived. Oregon, Springfield, Oregon, Springfield, North Dakota, Tulsa, Washington, Edinburgh.
Correct. Now would be a good time to bring up why you've mentioned Tulsa, the mind-blowing information we discovered recently that is can't be subliminal because it was in a deleted scene, but completely separately to yourself, who decided that Maud attended the Oral Roberts University in Tulsa, Oklahoma. A deleted scene from an episode of like season 4 or 5 in Ned's praying in his room, and in the background there is a mounted certificate for Ned for the Oral Roberts University.
I don't know. I'm not going to give myself that much credit. I'm sure I'd seen that picture somewhere. Are you sure it's not mentioned in like one of those books?
I possibly, but I re-listened to the spectral speculations, and it sounds like you just pick it. And the thing is, you picked it because it's the most Christian university in America, isn't it?
I mean, it's one of them, yeah. But when you Google like Christian universities in America, it's not the first one.
Oh, I was thinking maybe that's what happened, but yeah, very, very strange. But from what I can tell, you independently picked Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
So the fact that Ned went there officially within the Simpsons realm, and we decided to send Maude there, unbeknownst to that.
Send Maude to the... I don't know. I'm still not buying it. I think I knew.
That's it, university. Send me to Maude. Here I come, baby.
But here's the actual real Maude, to Maude for the Torium. So you have done a beautiful image there relating to last week's diary entry. Would you like to tell us a little bit about it?
Yes, I don't think it had nothing to do with the diary. It's the opposite of the diary. The diary was saying, don't come.
Didn't the diary say that you should make another ceremony in Springfield Township for all of the people that should be there?
Yes, it did. So yes, it is based on the diary. However, I'm getting emotional. Let's drink some coffee.
Calm down. Speed up.
Both. See, I drew the funeral as if it were real. I thought I've covered everybody who would possibly be there. The first thing you said was like, where's Rex, who is not there?
Now we're saying that Rex is still alive, but he's not there for some reason. So maybe we'll find out why in the diary. But there are a lot of people there. So and I imagine if you're listening now, you're seeing it on screen. So shall we go front row to back?
Yes. Should we go left to right?
I'll hover over them and you tell me who they are.
Okay, so that is Garrett Goodman and Bona, their twin brothers. That's old Frank, the dad, Laurie, the lobotomized sister, Roddy, Toddy, a wreath for the death of Maude, saying rip, let her rip. Agnes, crying. Maude's best friend, Shauna Chalmers. Ned, the ghost of Maude, watching over Ned. Edna, Luann, Ellen, aka the Investorettes, but Agnes is sat separately. Magdalena Turnbull.
So doesn't Magdalena have like a second husband, the one who's got his face torn off by a bear?
Yeah, I assumed he died from that.
Fair
Apparently
enough.
not.
Moving on.
Either way, he's not here. The Wiggums, Sarah, Clancy, and Ralph. Ruth Powers, Laura Powers, Mrs. Glick, Mrs. Albright, Mrs. Fish.
Mrs. Fish, as in microfiche?
Yes, Helen Fish.
She a librarian?
She's the organ player from the church. Louis, Maud's ex. Carl, Maud's friend. Willie, sea captain. Brink. The trio that made the original cut, but in this one have less importance.
But they did have a good reason for being there, but I can't remember what the diary said.
Something about saving a life. There's Sumps minus Maggie, because who takes a baby to a funeral? Ralph Tonks, Ratless. I repeat, Ratless. Mo.
Now, what's going on here? Why is Ralph Tonks sat next to Mo? Is that just a coincidence, or is there something going on there?
No, they're just creeps, so they probably got seats towards the back, the ones at the bottom. Hibbert and wife, Bernice, Apu and Manjula, octupletless, who brings 8 babies to a funeral.
Very good, very good.
Willard, the happiest man in Springfield. Osmond, the saddest. Madge Tinker Turnbull.
What's going on with Madge Tinker Turnbull's face?
She's always got a bit of a gammy face. She's always got a scar and a glass eye.
Interesting. Do we know why?
We do not.
There's some speculations in there.
Certainly will. Balthazar, who's looking trimmer than before, and his husband Nugan. That's the actor John Goodman from Monsters Inc. and the Flintstones. Kirk and Milhouse. Kirk's the only one. For some reason, I managed to draw everybody sad correctly immediately, and somehow I did Kirk's eyebrows wrong, so he's the only person there that looks angry. That is Janice Hubler. That is the Yakuza boss who says, "Forgiven us, please." And Jasper, who they bought the house from, and the stock image of Reverend Lovejoy.
Now, that is absolutely beautiful. That is the kind of thing that I would like to have on my wall as a poster.
Thank you. I agree.
It's the cartoon equivalent of Picasso's Guernica.
I've heard that before.
And
But yeah,
I'll hear
that
it
took,
again.
I knocked that up for no money in like an hour. So what's their excuse?
Exactly. They got some money and they had too much time, too much money. It ruined them. And what they were missing was that beautiful secret ingredient.
Concern.
Salt.
Yes, exactly.
Well, that is absolutely wonderful, marvelous, and magical. Anything else to add before we move on?
I believe not. There's probably some relatives stood off screen, but that was the A list of people who should have been at that funeral.
A couple of people I question, because we know there were some run-ins. I wonder where Morgana and Fu Chengyu are.
Oh yeah.
And their family, and obviously Rex, because Rex is the Tinker Turnbull's dad, right?
Yes.
Rex Ironheart. Those are the big ones. We already know about the mother. Mother passed away before this, as we know.
Yeah. Other than that, Alexis Wildcard Davis I considered, but she's a wildcard, so she didn't go.
We don't know what she looks like.
Morgana and Fu went to the Springfield funeral and did a bad job there, so I don't think there was no need for a second. Since I'd completed everything in my first term, there was no need for a second.
Very nice.
Oh, come on, Flim Flam, I've come to save you as Child Teen, and I don't even know why you're already stuck in this Media Moguls print room crystal maze theme. Come on, let's get out. For love or money, Flim Flam.
You must help me. Sharon, my sister, you must help me collect these paper scraps from under the painting machines.
Yeah, get under the printing machines, aka painting machines. And you know what? Don't lose no fingers, cause we need them all for the last bit.
I am being held hostage by a media mogul.
I know you are. I've stated that already. Let's head for the door. For goodness sake.
I am being held hostage by a media mogul.
How many?
I don't have enough scraps of freedom paper. I am 5 normal scraps short. I am like Dobby.
Dobby the horse?
Yes. Dobby the Wonder Horse.
I've got 1 piece of paper, but if I rip it into 4, I can give you 4 scraps.
That's still not enough. But we'll try. Oh yeah, no, it's my boss.
Oh, bloody hell, it's Murdoch.
What
the bloody
hell are you doing in here? Scarpa, come on, Flim Flam. Hold my South American hand.
Run.
Oh.
Let's seek refuge in this Australian under a bar.
Okie dokie. Oh, where's all my scraps gone? I'm alone. Where's Flim Flam?
Ha, we had scraps all along, Sharon. I am not actually Flim Flam. I am a smaller person.
Oh, you were just a smaller person dressed as Flim Flam all along. And bloody hell, I'm not even Murdoch. I'm just a giant man dressed as Murdoch in a big old giant Murdoch suit. Well, none of this makes sense to me.
We conned you, Sharon Flim Flam. We brought you all the way here to steal your scraps. Get out.
Ah, okay, Zaz. Well, now we're finally safe in shopping centre R with Equine John and John Statman John and Stamp. Stamp, who are all these other people that are here? Well, they're all the survivors, and you tell you what, I'll do any of them in if they steal my food and drink water. But anyway, there's Roddy Fingers, what used to play for Oakland A's. And there's a normal barman.
Hello.
And there's that big fat bugger John Pope 17. Everyone.
Oh, look, we haven't seen you since roughly season 4.
I haven't seen you for ages. Everything was going nice until it went to shite. Zombies everywhere, shopping centres closed, and I can't, for love nor money, get an update on my Steam account.
That is unfortunate.
Twitch is not accepting my credit card anymore. I'm not. My streams are down.
That is the worst thing to happen. Well, this looks like a jolly band of survivors. What have you been doing?
Well, we've just been hanging out here and making custard pies for if zombies ever get in.
What do you eat?
Custard pies, but just bits, not all of them.
I see. And does that hold the zombies off?
No, it's unconnected. The doors hold the zombies off.
I see. Well, it's been quite a ride. I was dead for like 6 months. I was trapped in the body of like some.
Are you telling me this story?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm busy. I'm trying for reinstall a firewall.
Oh, sorry.
Bye.
Bye.
He's quite rude, man. I'd forgotten how rude John Pope 17 was. He's a hacker, though, isn't he? At the end of the day.
He is, and he killed Flim Flam.
Well, the jury's still out on that one. Should we do some content?
Yes.
Clip 1.
Oh, yes, we're here to talk about Maude.
Clip 1. Ned is in a nightgown and cap on the swings in his garden. So this is season 11, episode 14, Alone Again Natura Diddly.
Still.
Ned just says, I just keep replaying the whole thing in my head, says Neddy sadly. I can't believe my last words to Maude were no footlongs. Homer sadly looks on and down. Everyone is looking at the ground with human sadness. HJ says, yes, it would have been a lot better if you said I love you or you're special or something sweet like that instead of that hot dog crack. Ned says, if only I'd been a gentleman and got the hot dogs myself, she'd be here. His voice breaks. Now, homie pats him. Don't beat yourself up. I'm the one who drove her out of her seat, gesturing and shrug. from Ned. I'm the one. Ned's eyes pop open as he sits up, as if this is a realization. I'm the one who provoked a lethal barrage of t-shirts. Neddy eyes close a bit. He angers up. I'm the one who parked in the ambulance zone, preventing any possible resuscitation. New dark info. Ned turns, about to snap. Homie is unreflective, but then realizes, hands up, hey, but there's no point in playing the blame game. And yet, somehow Mo was the one who got a beating. All right, Neddy says, looking down. Surely there was something in this plot to hold Homer responsible at least for a little while. Nope. I just got to work through the grief, says Neddy, head down, shaking. There's not going to be an easy answer, says the Simpsons as they wrap up this very special episode in 22 minutes.
Yes, let's get into it. I've said this for like our last 4 episodes now. We keep saying this is it, but this is it. This is the
really
last.
Is it?
This is really our final encounter with an episode where she's still alive in the timeline. I mean, she's dead now, but episode-wise, after this, we move into a whole new Simpsons where the continuity has changed permanently. As of now, we're still in that time where it could have made sense that next week Maude was just there and nobody discussed it. However, that did not happen. Carmen would like this, but it's like a bad example of that circular storytelling thing. We mentioned that Ned was uncharacteristically rude, just saying no footlongs to Maude initially, not like, oh yes please, or something like that. And he was only rude then so he could have that moment of regret now, which is an odd choice because they didn't want to go too hard on the sadness apparently, but there's also no reason for Ned to have had any fault or implication in the death. This doesn't go anywhere. It's just the one line of Ned saying Ned's essentially here doing a spectral speculations.
Spectral dick joke.
Exactly. If he went to get the hot dogs himself, she would still be here, which is part of the 50 ways to save Maud Flanders game that we used to play early in the Maudcast. She would have survived if he'd have gone.
She would. And there is an alternate timeline where she did, where he went, and here's the thing, did she still get it? Was it then, while he was off getting the hot dogs, she was so incensed at Homer that she stood up to give him what for and still was knocked over? And in many ways, it was worse because Ned wasn't even there to see it. He comes back with a bag full of hot dogs, only to find Maude still plummeting to her death.
That would be even sadder, but also, can you imagine a reality where the Ned died and they let Maude be the comic relief of the Flanders family?
No way. No way.
Not on Maudilly.
Not on all of our diddlies.
I'm going to say it's 70% Homer's fault. And I think it's only Homer's fault because it's The Simpsons. And that sounds stupid, but they had to Homer's got such a big role in this because we're big on the Homer being a funny idiot stuff this season. So there's probably earlier seasons or maybe even later seasons probably wouldn't have had Homer have such an active role in this. It probably would have been more of a freak accident, but they had to throw in the whole Homer's wacky and silly, isn't he? Look at the shenanigans he gets into. Look, he's accidentally murdered somebody's wife and mother.
The carpet. Just lift the carpet here so I can sweep it all under.
Exactly.
What's that? There's a rock and roll band playing?
Yes. I disagree about playing the blame game too. And from now on, he should be referred to as Murderer Simpson.
So the thing is, there definitely was. Make it a two-parter and have him, first of all, be really angry at Homer and then work through his grief, sure. But it was slapdash from start to finish.
Yeah, this is sad because this whole, that's not a bad line in context of trying to do it real. But then it just cuts to Homer saying, easy answer A. And then it just cuts to Homer filming Ned for a while. And then a little montage. And at the end of the montage, Homer says, how are you doing, Ned? And he says, oh, well, it's been a tough couple of months. So we've now skipped 3 months or something, at least, probably more after this small interaction. So we don't get to see any more initial dealing with the loss of Maude. There's no adapting to the routine or doing things that Maude had to do that they all got used to her doing, etc. We just move into a couple of months later and Ned all of a sudden is kind of okay.
It's almost as if this children's cartoon didn't want to dwell on the macabre.
I disagree, because as we just said, there was no need to make Ned implicate in this, and they've gone for that. So I'll come back to it in a second on another clip, but they should have just had that be the rest of the episode, yeah.
Absolutely. So many, many chances missed. Boo, Ian Maxstone Graham. Boo.
Boo.
Clip 2.
No.
Homer and is in some shop, dating agency shop. Comic book guy is leaving. Ned is filling in a form, and there are some nerds there, but not the nerds, other nerds. There's a box called One-Nighters, which is nice. Ned says, Homer, I'm having second thoughts. This feels disloyal to Maude. Homer smiles. He has a videotape. Wake up, Ned, Homer says sternly. You think Maude isn't dating in heaven? Concerned Ned says, you think she would? How could she not? Says HJ. The place is full of eligible bachelors. John Wayne, Tupac Shakur, Sherlock Holmes. Would she, I ask? He. Ned laughs. Ned, Sherlock Holmes is a character, Homer predictably says. He sure is. Ned looks on worried, and HJ grrrs.
Beautiful. Yeah, we've come too far already, time-wise. Like, why are we in a dating agency? What the hell? What's the hell, man? I'm glad there's saving graces in this episode, and one of them is Ned having second thoughts in this scene. It's not like Ned's on board. It is Homer trying to basically Simpsons him up, like get him there on like he's on like Simpsons time, and Ned's not ready. Because it makes sense that even in this cartoon world, in an elastic timeline, a couple of months is still not sufficient enough to get over the death of your wife of over 20 years and start dating again. I'm surprised and glad that they acknowledge that Ned dating now would be disloyal to Maude. I'm glad that line is in there. And as we discover later, kind of, well, she might have been, but from the looks of things, Maude was not dating in heaven. So strike two for Ned on the bigamy thing.
What is the evidence that she's not?
Mostly because we see her in heaven alone a couple of times. Like, there's no allusion to anything. However, and no spoilers for season 24 of the Maudecast, but that all might change one time, and she might actually end up dating a very famous dead person, more famous than the three people mentioned.
Voila. Albert Einstein?
No. Fun fact, that's the name of Albert Brooks. Did you know that?
I did, yes.
Fun fact.
Albert Brooks' brother, what's he called?
Bob. He died, didn't he, last year? That was,
Bob Einstein.
Yes, Bob Einstein is Albert Brooks' brother.
That's right. What's his name? Bob Super Dave.
Einstein.
Super Dave? Yeah. Was that his character?
Yeah, and he was
in Curb.
Bonkhauser in Curb.
Yeah. I don't know if I don't know the idea of having a dating shop agency. It seems like that is a little bit convoluted in itself, even in the late 90s or the turn of the centuries. And it just seems weird that he would push Ned to date so quickly and Ned would go along with it. I'm buying none of that.
No, and even like storyline wise, like they'd already consciously made a choice that it would be more interesting for Ned to be single than for it to be like, oh, he meets a woman by the end of the episode and the status quo is like reverted. But it's like they're trying to get to that. It's like they're trying to find him a new wife so he can have one by the end of the episode, and then he doesn't get one. So they could have cut out all of the dating stuff that takes way too long. There's like, you get to see him go on like 3 dates, and like that's like a good 5 or 6 minutes of time that we could have had with Ned, Rod, or Todd, and it didn't have to be like super sad. They've clearly shown a couple of times in this episode they can do little sad moments and have jokes in there. Like the swing scene was pretty sad. It was just Ned talking about how he could have saved his dead wife. So it's not. I just think they had like 7 ideas, and they were like, well, let's just do them all now in case we don't do a Ned episode for a few years. But it would have made way more sense for the next Ned episode, which is Praiseland, if that had been his first foray into dating.
Yeah.
And if this episode had just been about him and his relationship with Homer and God.
3 months is nowhere. It's not. Neddy's not doing it in 3 months. In 3 years, it would be pushing it for Neddy.
Exactly.
Clip 3. We zoom in from above into Ned's bedroom. He is kneeling and praying. The other side of the bed, I ask. Lord, I never question, but I've been wondering. Above the bed is this very ropey portrait, which I imagine is taken by what's his name? Tinker Turnbull, the happiest man.
Oh yeah, Osmond. We just said it now as well. I forgot which one
Osmond
he is.
Tinker Turnbull, the happiest man. But that is a very shoddy sums. Ka-ching.
Yes.
These none of them
That family.
none of them look even vaguely like the people in reality.
No, Ned's the closest, but just because he's got the most recognisable stuff, like the mustache.
Big eyes and a big tash. Who is that woman? Who is that woman?
I mean, it's clearly Maude. I mean, it's not clearly Maude, but it has to be Maude, doesn't it?
Look at the size of the big one's head. Her. Look at the size of Rod's hair.
It's just a bad all-round image, and it's not the only time we'll see it. But It does confirm that we saw the shoddy Maude last week on the other side, I think, on her own, and you questioned whether or not it could actually be Maude. And this kind of confirms that it must be.
It must be. And somehow Osmond Tinker Turnbull has got. He might be happy, but he ain't got away with pics.
It could always be a hand-rendered drawing of them by a child. Let's say it's a family portrait by Ralph Tonks.
Beautiful. That's what he does. He hangs out. He's trying to. He wants to move out the ratting business and become one of those people that sits on bridges and draws tourists.
Yes, but unfortunately, his pens are rats.
Rat pens.
Rat pens.
If your decision to take Maude, if your decision to take Maude was well, wrong, says Ned, unless this is some part of your divine plan. Could you just give me some sort of sign? His arms are stretched. Crickets. Anything. Ned starts to get angry with his God. And after all that church chocolate I bought, which by the way was gritty and had that white stuff on it. Yes, what is that? I asked. Well, I've had it. And he turns the picture of God away and the strings are stirring.
Beautiful. This is where we should be for the next 8 minutes of the episode. Or this is where we should have been. He basically, I like that Ned doesn't get a sign from God because we're already in a world where God exists and God has directly interacted with Ned before.
Oh, multiple times, yes.
So the fact that he's now actively not getting any signs or any sort of feedback from it's that old story, isn't it, of don't meet your hero, or like putting all of his faith into God and then meeting God and realizing that God doesn't specifically care about him is how it seems like, sort of like the start of Thor: Love and Thunder, but with Ned Flanders instead of Batman. But given that God does exist and Maude is in heaven and made it up, there was this a part of God's divine plan?
Well, the thing is that beyond a doubt, God and heaven exists in this universe and everybody knows for sure. So this is a very different world than the real world that we live in, knowing full well that Maude is up there in the realm of the big God in the sky with his big old beard. It's a whole different worldview, surely.
Yeah, and it all gets very lofty, doesn't it? Of what is free will and what is predetermined? Was Maude, like you just said, was Maude always going to die there, even if she didn't get the hot dogs?
Choke on the hot dogs. The hot dogs came to her and she choked on them and she said, I knew I shouldn't have got the footlongs.
Exactly. There's a version where she gets back, they eat the hot dogs normally and then somebody just walks over and pushes her off the edge.
That's a dark world. IMG comes through the cells.
Not even drawn, like a 3D rendering.
Like Freddy Krueger.
Exactly. Nightmare on Morse.
Nightmare on Maxwell Graham. Clip 4. Aloud again. Ned is talking to a country singer, tall, brown-haired woman singer. That was a lovely song, Sunday Best, Neddy says. It really got me. Covenant, Christian rock, I say, on the side of the van. You've been through some rough times yourself. Ned looks down. Recently, I lost my wife. I'm really sorry to hear that. We lost our drummer, pause, to a Pentecostal ska band. And again, Mo was the one who got the beating. I know it's not the same. It's very much not, I noted. But no, I hear what you're saying, says Ned, unbelievably, acceptingly, wringing his hands. It's always hard to replace someone. IMG, you do not know how true those words are. Yes, my name is Rachel Jordan. If you feel like talking, maybe we could grab a coffee. What is this, like the next morning, I asked. I know it's some bullshit 6 months time jump, but what happened? Ned laughs uncomfortably. Well, it sounds like some real ice for Shelt, but I'm not quite sure, he coughs. I understand, says the temptress.
Nice. I forgot to mention, the church plot thing. He turns that picture of God around and says, "I've had it," and then it does literally cut to the morning after, and Rod and Todd come in and say, "It's time for church," and he says, "I'm not going to church today, and maybe I won't go to church tomorrow. Like maybe I'll never go to church again." And then it immediately cuts to him speeding to church, saying sorry to God repeatedly.
Yeah.
So
Very poor.
what was the point of even putting it in there?
What was the point of any of it?
No.
They've only to undercut every element of pathos like a Marvel movie.
Yes. It was, the song wasn't about Maude, unfortunately, but it's one of the best moments of the episode. It's a nice song and it's wholesome, but not overly dark and serious. So that's nice. I do like that they designed Rachel Jordan to not look like Maude, to emphasize Ned's lack of being ready to meet somebody who isn't Maude. Kind of a nice place to end the episode. I say this scene sums the tone up pretty well, that they should have just run with. Like, they're not afraid to show that Ned's having a rough time, but there's still like jokes in there, but Ned's still got the through line of being like wholesome and optimistic in the face of tragedy, as he has been like 5 times now. Like, he lost his business, his house got smashed down, like now his wife's dead, and he's still, smiley, happy Ned. And they sort of reference it a little bit, but it does change the fact that like Homer can't be as much of a dick to Ned anymore, because now it would just be really mean. Like, it was fine to be like mean to Ned when everything was sort of like going well for him, but yeah, they kind of can't. They go back to it eventually, but there's quite a long time where Homer's pretty nice to Ned, but not always actually.
They gotta ease out of that one, really. But here's what's interesting: what's Maude been doing for this episode? Because as much as this is the Maudecast, we've been talking Ned a lot.
Well, she's been dead, so I imagine she's just. So I'm pretty sure there's a diary about it somewhere, but she's just settling into heaven, into her little house. She's adapting to the fact that she's no longer on the mortal plane, but she probably handles it better than Ned because she's the one in heaven. So like, we've seen that she can still see what's happening to Rod and Todd. For some reason, it seems like she can't. There's things about Ned that she doesn't know, but she seems to be able to keep check on Rod and Todd for some reason. So I'd say that she was probably pretty happy. She was more content for the rest of this episode than Ned, Rod, and Todd. I do think it's always hard to replace someone as a direct nod to Maggie Roswell.
Really? You think do you think they kind of just did a little tip of the hat to her on her way out?
Possibly, because that's literally what's happened here. Is it's been too hard to replace her vocally, so they thought, well, we'll just kill her then.
So do you think if MMG had worked out and she'd been like stellar, they would have just kept all those characters?
Possibly.
You know what that suggests? That it was MMG who killed Maude.
That does, and her lack of distinction
ability.
Of her voice. Yes.
As a voice actor.
I do wonder what she got up to after, because we haven't ever really discussed this, but they are also going to Roswell MMG soon and then replace her with Roswell. So I wonder how that firing went down. No one ever talks about that firing.
No, it's the firing we don't no footlongs.
Exactly. So I think this must be a little nod, because Ned's not trying to replace Maude, so it's an odd line. I know he's talking about the Scar ban, which I just think is sort of, it's not as insensitive as the Mo one.
No.
But it's her trying to find common ground, and at least she realises that, it's not the same situation. But Ned has no interest in replacing Maude at this point. That's exactly what he says to it in like 5 seconds when he says, "I'm not ready to move on." So it must be a nod to the actual replacement, which clearly was hard and didn't work out.
A meta nod, and IMG regretted it from the second he was forced to pull that trigger.
Because they let her have a crack at Helen too at some point, and Hoover, but never Luann.
None of it worked out.
No.
Well,
but I'm glad that it ends. I'm glad this episode ends like this, and Ned isn't ready to move on.
Well, it almost ends like that, doesn't it, Nathan? But here's how it actually ends. Clip 5. As the credits run, there is a song singing. It's a show about Ned, about him losing his sweet wife. Fair enough, so far so good. He landed on her head, and now it's time to get on with his life. Pretty insensitive stuff, Sean Colvin. an IMG. Pretty insensitive.
Yes, I do remember vividly from the commentary from that IMG says specifically that his daughter did a disappointed groan and said, "Why did you have to ruin it?" Which it's just one last little bit of comedy, and it also does confirm to us, because we didn't know that she does land on her head, which is not good, which means that even if Homer hadn't parked in the ambulance bay, what are you going to do? Like, she's not a vase, you can't just glue her back together and she'll work. She's landed on her head from that. Well, you've seen the image I drew.
Yes,
I imagine it
horrific.
Imagine it went everywhere. And that other line is just in there because it rhymes, but it's time to get on with his life is still too quick. In our actual real world timeline, Maude's been dead for about 12 minutes. Move on.
You move on. Let's all move on.
Yeah. Eat all of our shirts.
Exactly. Well, that rounds up the episode where we lost Maude, and so from this point on, there is no living Maude in any episode, as we pointed out. But that's not going to stop us here in Shopping Centre R. Right, lads, anyway, I've already introduced you to the rest. There's the other lads. Go and sit down.
Hey, everyone, I'm Gas Top Hat.
What? What did you say?
I said, hey, everyone, I'm Gas Top Hat.
Who are you?
I'm Gas Top Hat.
Gas Top Hat.
I'm Gas Top Hat. Hey, you friends, I'm Gas Top Hat.
Well, you seem very chipper there, Gaz. And I noticed that you don't seem to be wearing a hat.
I lost my top hat. Do you see it anywhere?
Why you ask the horse person?
I'm over here just sitting and eating a hat.
Oh, have you got my hat?
No, I don't have your hat.
Are you sure? 'Cause that looks a lot like my hat.
No, it's not your hat. I found this hat on a zombie.
Are you sure? Does it have my name on the inside?
Oh, I'll have a look, but I've already chewed most of the hat. It does say G-A, but your name's Gaz.
I think you've eaten the Z part. I think that's my hat.
No, I didn't notice a Z. I think this belongs to a man called Gaz. Okay, listen, lads, this could go on for a while. We'll find you another.
Is anybody here normal? I am. I'm normal, man.
Oh, good. Well, I'm just the brother of a lost soul, and you two are responsible for sending me to space, but I think every man makes their own decision. Nice to meet you. I'm Chris Jagger. Do you want to ride in my taxi?
No, thanks. I don't think we should go anywhere. There's a lot of dead people.
Oh, you're right. That's a good decision. Let's stay here.
I agree with it.
No one asked you, guys. I agree with it too. No one asked you, Jean. What about you? Woof, 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 woof. Hi, it's Snaggy. It's Snaggy, our dog. He's back.
Snaggy, you made it. Made it all the way.
He seems to have been bitten, though. Did anyone notice that this dog has a gash in his leg?
I think he's okay. I think he was bitten by a cat.
I don't. He'll be all right. We'll see what happens. Anyway,
let's all just sit around the fire and look at normal man's tattoos. Where are they from?
Oh, tell us about your tattoos.
Yes.
Tell us all about the tattoo, the one with the bleeding skull.
No, it's a mystery. It's a secret I will keep to myself forever.
All right. Well, let's go over here in this corner and do some spectral speculations. So as the spectral speculation I want to know is about Maudelynn's siblings, Winifred Goodman and Patrice O. Goodman. I'd like to know a little bit about those. Hold on, no, those are Frank's siblings, aren't they?
Yeah.
Are they?
Would you still? I'm pretty sure Maudelynn's got like 5 sisters or something, hasn't she?
Yeah, these are all of like Rex and Rochelle. They're all Maudelynn's family, right?
Yeah.
Now we're going to the other side finally of the Goodmans, which is Patrice O. Goodman and Winifred Goodman. What do we know about them?
Very little, surprisingly.
Tell me more.
I think that Winifred lives somewhere hot, like Magaluf, and she works in a library, but she can't read.
Now, why can't she read?
Personal choice. She thought, I'll just use pictures and see how far I get, but because of her exceptional poker face, she bluffed a job in a library and now has been there 12 years and is the head of the library.
Brilliant. That's Winifred, is it?
Yes, and Patrice O. Goodman is a avid, people who do train spotting.
Oh yeah, train spotters.
Yeah, he does that, but he does it with of the movie Train Spotting. So he goes around and looks in people's windows to see if they are watching Train Spotting, and if they are, he gives them some heroin.
Does he expect them to flush it down the bog when the Rozzers come? Or does he
Probably.
expect, well,
He just wants to see everybody fight and love, and most times it doesn't do anything. I'd say 99% of the people reject the heroin offer.
I would
And he
say that
also,
this took a dark turn sometime about 3 sentences back.
yes, and he is a big Train Spotting fan. His house is Train Spotting themed. He has an orange door, and he has sellotaped a doll to the roof and turned its head round.
So he's a bit like the kid from Toy Story.
Yes, exactly. Woody.
Yes. F sharp, A sharp, infinity.
Precisely. You've got a train in me.
Do we have time for a diary?
We do, but also Patrice is married to Leslie Sharp.
The actress.
Is that a real name? I thought it sounded familiar. Yeah.
Okay, well,
Is
that's
she
good
in
to know.
Train Spotting?
Yes.
No, she's not.
Leslie Sharp of Train Spotting 3.
Leslie TS3 Sharp.
What about a diary? Is there anything in there, maybe about her death or something related?
As a matter of fact, there is. And there was a couple of these pages available a while ago, but only every now and again, this sort of like glowing white page. But since she's passed in our world, it seems to have unlocked like another third of this diary has been unlocked, and it's all glowing white. So,
did you find them inside the panel of a door at a local police station?
That's where I found one of the pages. Fun fact.
There's a missing page from that, isn't there? This is completely unrelated.
Oh yeah,
The whole point.
still one missing, yeah.
Yeah. The woman, they cross over and he forgets who he is.
Yeah.
And he meets Laura Palmer there.
Oh yeah.
You know what her name is? Carrie Page. She is the missing page.
Oh, that's very clever.
Badumch. Unrelated though.
Did he ever confirm that? Did D. Lynch ever confirm that?
No, he doesn't confirm anything.
Neither confirm nor deny.
Exactly. Hatless.
About that diary?
This is all part of the diary. This is the end. Oh, hello, by the way, I'm Maude. I got swept up in my own... I was watching Twin Peaks in heaven. I'm in heaven now. I've been up here for like 2 months. They give me a nice little house. There's no accommodation fees or anything. Like, money doesn't exist up here. It's just all gestures of goodwill. So I have a new house, and there's a couple of my neighbours are helping me paint it, like Mother Teresa and Freddie Mercury and
Hans Gruber from Die Hard.
They're all helping me paint my house, paint hard, and it's all going very nicely. And somehow, just because I believe I am a beautiful woman, I have been asked to participate. One of my other neighbours, Cilla Black, said, I'm getting a TV show going, do you want to be on it? And I was like, go on then, I might as well. I don't have any hobbies yet. So I went on this TV show where I had to sit in a chair and there were 3 men behind a wall and I had to ask them questions. It was a Laura fun, as Cilla kept repeatedly saying. I'll tell you about my 3 choices and you
can tell me, diary,
who I should pick. The first man said that he started his journey by working for Fox Film Corporation, and he was born in Iowa and played football at the University of Southern California in 1923. He didn't like his name, he told me, and he decided to adopt the name Duke, but that is not his real name, and he loved passing time by playing chess. So that was the first guy. And then, so he sounded okay. And then the second one said that he had some harsh words in 1992 for Donald Trump. He said, everybody's taught that you want to be successful, you want to be like from gimme, 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 push, 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 step, step, crush, crush, crush.
That's how it all is.
And then he said that one of his biggest influences is Shakespeare, and he loved the writer when attending the Baltimore School for the Arts. And also the issues he had with his best friend started when his best friend released a song called Who Shot Ya, a song that he interpreted as being towards him. That was guy number 2. And guy number 3 told me that he was originally going to be called Sherringford until his name was changed. His second adventure was the result of a dinner party with Oscar Wilde, and that he did not wear a deer stalker very much. So afterwards, Cilla was like, which one of these do you want to go to Benidorm with? And I said, all of them, they all sound lovely. We're all going to go and we're all going to have a lovely time in heaven, Benidorm. So we did. What a character. The end.
Of a character there, there's a lot of information in that diary, but the gist of it seems to be that Maude is getting on with her life. Now, we don't know how much time has passed, or her death, if you might say.
Exactly.
And we don't know how much time has passed, but she's now living next door to 60s singer and 80s TV star Cilla Black, and starring in Heaven TV and going to Benidorm with Holmes, Shakir, and Wayne. So all in all, moving on with her death as we think she should. So
Just
good on
Homer
her.
App predicted.
Yeah,
Good for her.
nailed it. But now I think it's time for us to head out. Who's going
Exactly.
first?
Me. Naya Gogan, Rilo Paint, Benedi, Maude.
Philotongs, Everpeem, your Hebduli, the hot dogs.
Prefidinton, Resuscitation,
Possible lethal barrage, unreflective yo, balm game.
Dating Jency, Nurse.
Good at our work. Bachelors, Louch.
John Wayne, Tupac Shakur, Shenlong Cons.
Shenlong Combs. Aoom, Oin Ive.
Tonka Toyable, A Poist Man.
Belmore, Bershi, Kirkits, anything, Greerkit.
Covenantant, Christian Rock, She Socks, Bean Thor, Some Rocht Times.
Akapat, Ringting, Mabianos, Rachel, Yorfield.
Jumwich, A Fane, Clouts.
Lancet, Honor
Lancet on her head.
IMG, rest in peace.
The end, Chris Jagger.
Anyone want a taxi? I've left the meter running.
No thanks. Well, I'm just gonna hunker down here for the night and talk about Maude.
But just before we go, who's that? Who's just appeared in the door? Wearing that giant purple costume and seems to be walking on stilts. By the looks of it.
I don't know.
Mother has arrived.
Oh my god, it's Vivacious. Our
RuPaul's
sponsor.
Drag Race Season 6 runner-up.
Yes.
Who'd have thought it?
Insert voice note of her saying Mother has arrived.
Ring, 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 ring. Insert voice note of her saying, "Who is this? Who is this? I ain't got time for this ish. Who is this? Mother ain't got time for this ish. Who the ish is Todd HG? Who the F is Todd Hobgoblin?" The end.
Nice to see her.
It is. It's nice to see her in the real world for once. I mean, she's obviously paid us heavily over the last few weeks in cast-off ball gowns, but now we actually get to spend some time with Viv, and who knows? That was that screaming. It was a very inauspicious start, so let's see how this goes, shall we?
Mother has arrived.